It became popular to blame and shame legacy airlines. YouTube is full of those surviving and worst experience reviews which for sure attract a lot of clicks. No doubt legacy European airlines are not what they used to be, but are they really that bad? I flew a lot with Asian carriers recently. Now I really want to have an unbiased look at larger European airlines which used to be heroes in the past but now have somehow mixed reputation. And to start with, I want to try the oldest airline in the world, KLM Royal Dutch Airlines. It may come to many as a surprise, but KLM indeed is the oldest operating airline in the world. Established in 1919, it is flying for more than 109 years. It is also one of the few airlines in the world that has royal designation, Royal Dutch Airlines, awarded by the Queen of the Netherlands. While it's not as big in Europe as it used to be, it still has a good long-haul network in Latin America and Asia. This is what I'm going to use today, taking KLM flight from Amsterdam to Mexico City. It's 9,200 kilometers, 11-hour flight on board of Boeing 777-200. It's a proper flight to truly experience what the airline can offer on a long-haul flight. I am a bit anxious. Just the day before the flight, I read that KLM grounded some of its long-haul fleet due to the maintenance issues, so I'm worried if my flight is still okay. But so far so good, though I noticed many cancelled flights. Amsterdam is a home airport for KLM, so it's hard to miss it here. The business class check-in area is called Sky Priority, same as in airports of other Sky team members. I see the huge KLM logo from far away and go there. While walking, I'm googling what actually happened to KLM. Turns out there was an incorrectly done maintenance for 787 fleet and KLM grounded all of its Dreamliners for emergency maintenance. This doesn't sound very good, so I hope I'm not going to get some surprises at the check-in. Sky Priority area is huge and there is no crowd at all. I'm asking if everything is okay with the flight and the check-in agent confirms but says that there are many disruptions and she cannot guarantee anything. I'm getting my boarding pass and luggage tags, but still a bit anxious if I'm actually going to fly anywhere. But as for the check-in itself, it's as good as it gets, fast and friendly. I'm definitely going to check the lounge now. It's Amsterdam and it should be a flagship lounge for KLM. On my way, I take a quick look outside. Houston, we got a problem. My flight should be on 787 and I can't see any KLM's Dreamliners, just few of 777s. This doesn't look good at all. Well, at this point I can just wait and see, so it better be a wait in a great lounge. KLM is using a lot of very specific Dutch blue and white ornaments. It's called Delft blue and originates from a traditional Dutch pottery. Years ago, KLM also started to give in business class small porcelain houses with a liquor inside, painted in Delft blue style. This has become a tradition and houses became collectibles. I wonder if this is a whole collection here, and if so, one would need to fly a lot to have the full set. So, the KLM Crown Lounge. Spoiler alert, you need to plan for at least an hour if you want to explore the lounge, and you need to venture beyond the main area to find the better parts of this lounge. The main area is right next to the entrance and is a typical bar and dining area and is very busy. There is a big food station where you have both buffet as well as 2 cooking stations where you can get hot dishes, and some are actually cooked right there. I did not get a good look, but it seemed like pasta or something like that. You can sit right there or go to a bit further away to a less crowded area. Outside of that food area there is a bar with coffee and drinks, and a food zone does feel a bit like a factory canteen. The bar area is actually very nice. And best of all, there is a proper Heineken bar right next to it where you can get a perfect pint of beer. I am saving my appetite for the onboard meal, so I resist all the food around, pick a coffee and find a quieter place by the window and away from all the dining crowd. It's a totally different vibe here, quiet and relaxed. A great job by KLM to create this space with lots of privacy. thanks to those cocoon-like chairs which feel almost like mini business class seats from the plane. I also appreciate a lot that power is right by each chair and you don't need to look around for the sockets. Now, the hidden secret of this lounge is that all this is happening in the left side from the entrance. But there is a huge other side of the lounge which is fantastic and almost empty. You turn right from the entrance, take the stairs and get into a very big area which is very thoughtfully zoned so you can find exactly the right place for what you need. It's ironical that it's so busy on one side with people not being able to find a seat, while the other side of the lounge is almost deserted. All it takes just to explore a little, but still 99% of passengers all flock to the crowded area and most likely even never find out that there is more to this lounge than meets the eye. This area is really well laid out. Whatever you look for, something more quiet for work and conversation, or something more livelier closer to the bar, or a place to watch TV and movies, you can find it all here. All nice, modern, new, and completely empty. From here, you can also go outside to open air terrace. Originally probably a smoking area, now it looks more like a barbecue zone, which actually would be an awesome idea to implement at the airport. It would be nice to sit here and sip a drink and watch all the planes taxiing around. It's actually a great place for plane spotting fans, but it is still cold and windy in Amsterdam despite that it's May, so I don't feel like settling here. Rather, I'm looking around to check if there is any sight of 787s around. But all I can see is the same 777s as before. Done with the lounge and heading to the gate. I see the plane at the gate and it's a good sign that we are flying today. But there is also a surprise. It's KLM Asia plane. KLM Asia is subsidiary registered at Taiwan to allow KLM to fly directly both to Taiwan and mainland China in 90s. This is no longer an issue these days, but KLM still keeps this subsidiary for some reason. Now things click. Since KLM had to ground its 787s for maintenance, it had to scramble every single aircraft available, so my flight today to Mexico City will be actually KLM Asia 777-200 instead of mainstream KLM 787. Mystery solved and I'm ready to board. KLM is boarding by zones and everything seems to be very well organized. Sky priority is properly observed, so I go through quickly and without any hassle. Business class boarding and through a separate bridge, which makes everything even smoother. Now it's the time to get to know the cabin and the seat. KLM is using 1-to-1 reverse herringbone configuration with direct aisle access for all the seats. The long-haul business cabin carries a name of World Business Class and is using Jamco Venture seats from a relatively niche Japanese manufacturer. From what I know, they are used in Europe also only by Air Europa. Pillow, blanket, small amenity bag and a bottle of water, and standard set that you would expect on a long-haul business class. These are almost brand new seats retrofit in 2023 on those 777s, and they look actually great. It's quite spacious while at the same time gives a good level of privacy. What I like is that the footwell is not very narrow, which is a usual problem with those herringbone seats. Almost immediately, a crew comes with a pre-flight drink. Checking the seat with a glass of champagne is definitely a better experience. What else we got here? Seat controls are simple and practical and located in the right place exactly by your hand. There are 3 types of power outlets, universal USB and Type-C, all easy to notice and easy to reach, which is not always the case. A bottle of water is placed in a small bottle holder, which is a really nice thing and helps avoid those bottles flying around during takeoff and landing. Let's see what else could be interesting. Here we go, wireless charger. It's becoming standard in the cars, but you still don't see too many of those on board. I'm not sure I'm able to make it work. I'm moving phone up and down, but the charge still doesn't seem to come up. Wonder if it might be disconnected for some reason while on the ground? The in-flight entertainment system remote is very much standard, but I'm curious about this strange kind of jack. What could it be? It looks like something from sci-fi movie or something from Transformers. Wonder if this could be a direct line to Optimus Prime. Right above remote there is an individual light, small thing that comes handy if you want to read at night. Good headphones is a must-have thing on a long haul from my perspective, so I always check them out quickly. Here I'm not impressed at all. You can see from the first glance that there are some cheap and branded headphones which really don't match the great screen and brand new seat. I don't think KLM saved a fortune, but they definitely chipped away from the experience they provide. The great thing about those new KLM seats is that there is a soft door that you can close and turn the seat almost into a small cabin. It's a great feature and definitely differentiates KLM from other reverse herringbone cabins, as well as brings them as close as possible to what Qatar Airways' famous Q-Suite offers. In general, this cabin offers a great level of privacy, really well done by KLM. Now, let's get back to in-flight entertainment. It comes with 18-inch screen, big and bright, and it's bigger and way better than the TV I had as a student. The controls are very intuitive and the touchscreen is responsive and quick. As one may expect, there is tons of entertainment in all different genres. I can see already a few interesting movies and recent series, so I'm confident I'm not going to get bored on this flight. Here, KLM definitely delivers on par with best in class, and ways better than Chinese carriers that I used to fly a lot recently. Moving on to maps and in-flight data, the experience is equally good. Fast to load, informative and easy to navigate. While according to schedule the flight should be more than 12 hours, here I see that actually it will be just 10 and a half. KLM seems to add almost 2 extra hours to cover long taxiing, possible delays, headwinds and anything else. Sounds like a smart move, but if everything works on time and you come 2 hours earlier, it might be a big surprise for your taxi, or if anyone is coming to meet you at the airport. I still need to check the amenities, but I see that the flight attendants start taking pre-order for the lunch, so it's time to switch my attention to the menu. Let's see what we got here. Hofmaaltijd, what's that? That's Dutch menu that comes first, which is a bit strange as probably 99% are transit passengers here, but it's a Dutch airline, so they have the right. Here we are. For starter, I will have a choice of chili shrimps with pickled watermelon or a curry soup. Definitely shrimp and watermelon. For the main, I have a choice of roasted cauliflower, salmon à la flamande with hollandaise sauce and lemon chicken. Cauliflower and chicken sound a bit too pedestrian. It's a Dutch airline, so let's go for that salmon with hollandaise sauce. And for the second service, we will get Caesar salad without alternative choices, just with 2 options for starters. KLM offers few cocktails, but I'm quite skeptical about it as I never had a good cocktail on board except for Emirates. Then there is champagne and quite decent list of beers and liquors. I'm checking for Dutch flavor and of course it's Heineken beer here, and there are also Damrak gin and Ketel One vodka, both coming from the Netherlands. I noticed that KLM is also offering a decent tea and freshly brewed coffee. But where are the wines? They come with a separate wine list. Fancy. For whites, we got something from South Africa, a mix of Chenin Blanc, Sauvignon and Chardonnay, which I never heard about, then equally unknown for me Spanish white, and finally something on my radar screen, French Pinot Gris from Alsace. For reds, there is a choice between only 2 options, a Sicilian Pinot Noir and Spanish Rioja Crianza. The wine list is okay, but it seems to be way on the cheap side. You should be able to pick those bottles for no more than 10 euros in any supermarket. Meanwhile, we are starting the pushback. The weather is great, so I'm anticipating great views during the takeoff. I am also waiting for the in-flight safety video. I always like to observe if and how airlines try to differentiate and show their identity in that otherwise very boring topic. I think that one day I should make a video that would be dedicated only to that. And I have to tell that KLM does well in that my unofficial competition. They definitely have their style using the Delft blue themes, the famous Dutch porcelain ornament that is kind of signature of the Netherlands and is heavily used by KLM all around, like the decorations of the lounge in Amsterdam. About to take off, this is the time where I'm usually trying to make first conclusions. So, how is my KLM experience so far? Everything on the ground, from check-in to the lounge to the boarding, was very good. Actually, it's not far away from being great. KLM's New World business class cabin is very nice and the seat is great. Good space, comfortable, and great privacy thanks to that pull-away door. In-flight entertainment, from that 18-inch screen to movie selection, seems extremely good. The only thing that spoils the impression so far is that it seems that KLM is penny pinching on smaller things. Headphones and wines for sure, and I have a bit of suspicion for food too, as some of the options didn't sound exciting at all. That's strange, they apparently invested big bucks into retrofit of those planes with much better seats, but are saving on really little things. But so far, and I have to say quite unexpectedly for myself, I feel that I would give KLM 4.5 out of 5, as I really like the service, the cabin and the seats. We are in the air, I'm getting myself comfortable in my seat, and let's see if there is anything left unexplored. Blankets and pillows, let's see what we got here. Blanket comes first, packed in a cheap plastic bag, which already sends a certain vibe. It's as ordinary, if not mediocre, as it could be, and somehow looks pretty much worn out. KLM really can learn from Qatar Airways how you can send a premium vibe with small things. The pillow is somehow in the same camp, but I like that it's a larger, almost full-size pillow, rather than those small pillows that you sometimes get. And finally, let's check KLM's amenities bag. It is actually a fabric bag, which is quite interesting, though maybe not very practical if you need to quickly pull something out of it. It comes from Envisions. No idea what it is, can't help, but my first thought is that Envisions is a cheaper brother of headphones and blanket. Let's look inside. I'm trying to stay positive, but this all seems like a cheap giveaway in a college dorm, not something you give on a €5,000 long-haul business class flight. I can't help but to compare again with Qatar Airways and the great amenity box they have. KLM tries to look cool with something like that bamboo toothbrush, but it doesn't, looks rather basic and as far from premium as it could be. I found out later that Envisions is a design agency founded by graduates of Eindhoven Design Academy that developed this amenity bag for KLM, and KLM seems to be proud about it. I wish those students were kicked out of academy before they could graduate and develop a masterpiece like that. The only thing that seems to be proper are those two tiny tubes of face cream and lip balm from Marie Stella Maris, a niche Dutch cosmetics company. But again, KLM, don't be so cheap. You would not bankrupt if you make those a little bigger. The rest seems extremely basic. I'm double checking inside the bag just in case I didn't find any hidden treasure and that could make everything right. But the only thing that I could find is that pack of toothpaste tabs. All in all, KLM amenities somehow leave me depressed. Somehow it doesn't seem that KLM gets that small things make a big difference. Wi-Fi connection becomes active after 10 minutes of flight. Connecting is simple, but KLM is still charging in business for Wi-Fi, though you get a free path for messaging. Meanwhile, I'm able to resolve the earlier Optimus Prime mystery. This strange-looking port is actually the connection of KLM headphones. Probably all the money went into this thing and they had to save on the headphones themselves. It's kind of magnetic and snaps into place, which is actually convenient if you want to plug headphones when lights are off in the cabin. I can sense the smell coming from the kitchen and start gearing up. This table is well designed and easily adjusted. With a bit of few extra pounds on me, I hate those folding tables that squeeze you into the seat. The service starts with another glass of champagne. I tried it for pre-flight drink and it was okay, so I decided to stick to it rather than venture with somehow questionable wines list. The champagne comes from Bernard Lonclair, a smaller boutique producer, and it's kind of clear that KLM wanted to save here again. But it's not bad after all. Before the service itself, we get a small pre-appetizer, or a amuse-bouche. It's kind of very tender mousse with a walnut. It's nice and definitely better than typical mixed nuts and crackers on many other airlines. The starter came shortly, and I have to say I am impressed. After a few cheap things, I was a bit skeptical, but the starter for sure was above expectations. The chili shrimps with pickled watermelon were the centerpiece, and they both looked and tasted amazing. Starter also came with small green salad with pine nuts, sweet pepper drops and olives, with a small bottle of balsamic vinegar dressing. There was also Dutch butter and a nice bun. The cutlery was engraved with Dutch ornaments similar to Delft blue, just not blue, and salt and pepper came in a very little nice envelope which you can easily confuse for a love note from a flight attendant. No doubt that the starter set the bar very high, so I was waiting for the main course with very different expectations. And while from the first glance the main course didn't look as impressive or as bright as the starter, but it was equally great if not better. KLM treated me with salmon à la flamande with hollandaise sauce, served with asparagus, scrambled eggs and skinned potatoes in herb butter, spinach and parsley oil. I have to say it was delicious. After the flight, I did a little research and found out that KLM World Business Class menus are rotating on 3 months basis, and the menu for my flight was developed by De Librai, the only Dutch restaurant with 3 Michelin stars. Apparently they also do wine pairings for KLM, but here I keep my opinion that KLM pick things on price. By the time the dessert comes, there is nothing left for KLM to prove to me. I'm convinced that their food is great. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to skip the sweets, by far not. I get forest fruit bavarois layered with mango and sunflower seeds and topped with passion fruit crumble. The only thing I could wish for is that there would be 2 of them. It also comes with a decent cup of tea, while I was a bit scared that following the tradition of cheap drinks, KLM will give me Lipton tea bag. And there is still something after the dessert, a small chocolate in the shape of traditional Dutch house. I feel like there is too much of sweets and decide to go for another cup of tea, which comes with a nice choice of different tea bags. The lunch is over, and after all the food, I feel that the next bag's choice is to take a nap. I put the seat into flat bed position, and the good thing is that while traditionally narrow, the footwell of this seat still offers you some decent space for your legs. A nap, a movie, couple of hours answering emails, some HBO series, and somehow we are already over North America, and time for that light meal, which is also kind of a dinner. And what sounded on menu like a boring salad turned out again to be a great culinary experience. There was a small starter, tartlet with spinach, cheese and potato, and instead of bland salad there was great Caesar with pulled chicken, egg, tomato, a special Dutch repenard cheese and pine nuts. On top of that, another great dessert, something very similar to panna cotta. All in all, I would confidently rank KLM food on top of my business class experience list. After the meal, flight attendants brings a box of those famous Delft blue houses with Bols liquor inside. They really became a signature item for KLM long-haul business class. I have a couple of those at home, and now I start thinking that after that flight, I have all the reasons to fly KLM more often and build more solid collection. We are over Mexico already, and with the flight almost over, there is only one unexplored place on this plane, a bathroom. Usually it's not the most exciting thing to check. It's unlikely to see something wow, but it may spoil the impression if something is wrong. But here KLM actually does well. The lavatory is nicely decorated, again with those Delft blue houses, and there are some cosmetics from Marie Stella Maris which look somehow much more convincing here than in the amenity bag. The only thing that looks a bit off is that cheap plastic tulip flower. Our 777 is getting ready for landing, and I'm getting ready to put my thoughts together and give the final verdict to KLM for this flight. I have to be honest, I came to this flight with very modest expectations. I came actually with the bias that I'm going to have most likely a solid but bland and boring experience with old-fashioned cabin and basic service. But KLM somehow managed to completely prove me wrong. The experience on the ground was perfect, from check-in to the lounge. Actually, I would easily rank their Amsterdam lounge in the top 5 I have experienced. Despite having some relatively old long-haul fleet, KLM has invested into retrofit of the cabins, and I would call their new Jamco Venture seats second best to Qatar Q Suite, thanks to comfort and privacy. The in-flight entertainment was great and came with a fantastic high-resolution 18-inch screen. And it looks like KLM really invested into food. The menu created by chefs of 3-star Michelin restaurant was nothing short of perfection. It doesn't mean everything was ideal. While KLM really invested in high-ticket items to improve its business class product, they somehow also did penny pinching on few things. The headphones were extremely basic, and it's an important thing for the long-haul flight, especially that you can't plug your own into that very special jack they have, and connecting via Bluetooth could be a nuisance. There was a very cheap blanket, and the amenity bag looked like a joke. Similarly with the wine list, not bad, but definitely on a cheap side. Somehow it felt that after doing a great job for upgrading their business class product, KLM realized that they still missed few elements and gave a task to an intern to go online to AliExpress and buy everything remaining as a package for €10. None of those flops were major things, but they were all those little things that, while small on its own, together create a truly premium experience. Having said all that, I still had a great experience with KLM, and I'm confidently giving them 4.5 out of 5. I don't think it would take too many efforts for them to claw back that half of a point to get to the perfect. It was a pleasant experience, and I'm happy that KLM did such a great comeback over the last few years to offer a top-of-the-class business class product, as they used to do for many years prior. Thanks a lot KLM for this great flight, and I will no doubt be happy to fly again.